3 seconds is illegal to college to study, even to is penalty by Degotos. Really? Even to uh, even to college to is penalty. Really? Okay. The link to the video will be in the description below. Go and check them out. So let's into this vaccine in 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh.
Old Jasper. When 19-year-old Jasper Reed suddenly announced he was enrolling in a college 3 states away, his parents were confused but supportive. Their son had
Yeah.
never shown much interest in higher education before, but they didn't question it. After everything Jasper had been through with his transition, maybe he just needed a fresh start. What they didn't know was that Jasper wasn't running toward a new
Uh-huh. Dependent
beginning. He was running away from a secret that was growing inside him,
BB.
one that would eventually be impossible to hide. And when the truth finally came out in the middle of a crowded lecture hall, it would destroy everything Jasper had carefully built.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Jasper had been Jessica, but even as a child, something had never felt right. The dresses felt like costumes. The name felt like someone else's. By 16, Jasper finally had the words to explain what he'd always known. He was a boy, not a girl. Coming out to his parents had been terrifying. His father, Robert, had gone silent for 3 days. His mother, Linda, had cried for a week. But eventually, slowly, they'd come around. They loved their child more than they feared change. The transition began at 17. Testosterone shots every 2 weeks. A legal name change. Top surgery at 18. Jasper's voice deepened. Facial hair started growing. His body became more masculine. He finally felt like himself. But the acceptance came with a price. Extended family stopped inviting them to gatherings. Church
Really?
friends whispered and judged. Neighbors stared. Jasper's parents defended him fiercely, but the criticism wore them down. They'd
Wow.
sacrificed so much for their son's happiness. Jasper was grateful, but he also felt guilty for the pain his truth had caused them. Then something strange happened that Jasper didn't expect. About 6 months after starting testosterone, he developed an interest he couldn't explain and didn't dare share with anyone. He wanted to experience pregnancy. The thought came to him late at night,
Really?
persistent and confusing. He was a man now. He'd fought so hard to be seen as male. But somewhere deep inside, a part of him was curious about what his body could do before he'd fully transitioned. He hadn't had bottom surgery yet. He still had his original reproductive organs, though testosterone had made them dormant. Jasper watched pregnancy videos online in secret. He read articles about transgender men who'd carried babies. The more he learned, the more the desire grew. It wasn't about being female again. It was about experiencing something his body was capable of before that window closed forever. But how could he tell anyone? His parents had fought so hard for people to see him as their son.
Yeah.
How could he say he wanted to do the most stereotypically female thing possible? One evening during dinner, Jasper tried to bring it up indirectly. His hands shook as he pushed food around his plate. He mentioned an article he'd read about a trans man who'd carried a baby. He said it casually, like it was just interesting news. He watched his parents' faces carefully. His father's fork stopped midair. His mother's expression hardened. Robert spoke first, his voice tight. After everything they'd done to help Jasper transition, after all the criticism they'd endured from family and friends, after fighting so hard for people to see Jasper as male, this was what he was thinking about? Linda's response was worse. She said that if Jasper went through with something like that, it would undo everything. People would say the transition was fake, that Jasper was just confused. All the battles they'd fought would be for nothing. Jasper
Wow,
immediately
really?
backtracked. He said he was just sharing an interesting article, nothing more. He changed the subject quickly, but his parents' horrified reactions had given him his answer. He could never tell them what he really wanted. Over the next few months, the desire didn't fade. If anything, it grew stronger. Jasper knew that once he had bottom surgery, which he was planning for next year, this option would be gone forever. He made a decision that would change everything. He would do it in secret. Just once. He'd experience pregnancy, have the baby, then continue with his transition plans. Nobody had to know. Jasper found a fertility clinic 2 hours away that worked with LGBTQ plus patients. He stopped his testosterone shots without telling anyone, claiming he'd just gotten his dose when his parents asked. He used money he'd saved from his part-time job to pay for IVF treatments using
Yeah.
donor sperm. The process took 3 months. The first attempt failed. The second succeeded. When the pregnancy test came back positive, Jasper felt simultaneous joy and terror. He was pregnant. He'd done it. And now he had to hide it. Telling his
Yeah.
parents was impossible. They'd be devastated, furious, heartbroken.
True.
After everything they'd sacrificed for his transition, this would feel like betrayal. Jasper
Yeah.
called his best friend, Morgan, the only person who knew his secret desire. Morgan had thought Jasper was crazy, but had supported him anyway. Now Morgan listened as Jasper explained the positive test and his complete panic. They came up with a plan. Jasper would leave home for a while, long enough to have the baby somewhere his parents wouldn't know. Then he'd figure out what to do next, maybe adoption, maybe something else. But first, he needed distance and time. Jasper suddenly announced to his parents that he wanted to go to college. He'd found a program at a state university 3 states away that interested him. It was a lie. He'd barely looked at the course catalog. But his parents, desperate for Jasper to have normal experiences after the difficult transition years, enthusiastically supported
Yeah.
the idea. Within a month, Jasper
Wow.
was enrolled and living in a dorm room 300 miles from home. The first trimester was easier than Jasper expected. His baggy hoodies hid any changes to his body. He attended classes, kept to himself, and avoided making friends who might ask too many questions. Morgan visited twice, bringing prenatal vitamins and checking that Jasper was okay. Jasper attended a clinic off campus for prenatal care, paying in cash, using a fake name. By the second trimester, hiding became harder. His belly started showing. Jasper wore oversized clothes and avoided fitted shirts. He told his roommate he'd gained weight from cafeteria food. The roommate
Happy,
believed him.
happy
Jasper felt
tummy
the
of food.
baby move for the first time during a
Oh.
sociology lecture. The flutter against his belly made him smile, then panic. This was real. This was actually happening. In a few months, he'd be giving birth, and he still had no plan for what came after. His parents called weekly. Jasper lied about classes, friends, campus life. Every conversation felt like swallowing glass. At 6 months, Jasper's belly was impossible to hide completely. Students started staring. Whispers followed him across campus. Someone
Really?
asked if he was pregnant, and Jasper had laughed it off as a joke. But the question hung in the air. During a biology lecture, Jasper felt suddenly dizzy. The room tilted. He tried to stand up to get air, but his legs wouldn't support him. The last thing he remembered was the floor rushing toward his face. He woke up surrounded by people. His professor, students, campus security, and a university nurse who was checking his pulse and asking rapid questions. The nurse lifted Jasper's shirt slightly to check his breathing. She froze. Her eyes went to his swollen belly, then to his face. In front of 30 students
Wow.
and a professor, she said the words Jasper had been terrified of hearing. He appeared to be pregnant, approximately 6 months along. The classroom erupted. Students pulled out phones. Someone was already texting. Within an hour, everyone on campus would know. The university called Jasper's
Wow.
emergency contact, his parents, immediately. Jasper sat in the campus health center, head in his hands, as the nurse explained the situation on the phone. He heard his mother scream through the phone line. His father's voice demanding this was a mistake, some kind of cruel joke. The nurse confirmed it wasn't a
Wow.
joke. Their son was definitely pregnant and had been hiding it for months. Jasper's parents were on the road within an hour, driving 300 miles fueled by shock, anger, and confusion.
Wow.
When Robert and Linda arrived, they found Jasper in a private room at the health center, curled up on a cot, his pregnant belly visible now that there was no point in hiding it. Linda cried. Robert looked like he'd aged 10 years. They asked why. Why would Jasper do this after everything they'd gone through? Why would he hide it? Why would he throw away his transition? Jasper tried to explain. He
Wow.
wasn't throwing away his transition. He was still a man. He just wanted to experience this one thing before his body changed forever. He wanted to know what it felt like. His parents didn't understand. To them, it looked like Jasper was confused, like maybe the transition had been a mistake all along. The conversation went in circles. No one was listening. Everyone was crying. The next day, Jasper received a letter from the university dean. Due to the nature of his deception, using college enrollment to hide a pregnancy rather than pursue education, and the disruption it had caused, the university was suspending his enrollment effective immediately. The letter explained that the college was
Really?
an institution of learning, not a place to hide secrets. Jasper was welcome to reapply after his situation was resolved, but for now, he needed to leave campus. Jasper
Wow.
felt numb reading it. He'd lost his hiding place. His parents knew. The whole campus knew. And he still had 3 months of pregnancy left with nowhere to go.
Wow.
Jasper moved back home. The atmosphere was tense and painful. His parents barely spoke to him beyond necessary conversations. Extended family found out, and the judgment was fierce. People who'd barely accepted Jasper's transition now used the pregnancy as proof he'd been confused all along. Morgan was the only person who visited, bringing food and company during Jasper's loneliest
That's
moments.
acceptable.
Jasper's dysphoria was overwhelming. His pregnant body
Oh,
he
baby bump.
felt like a betrayal of everything he'd worked for.
Wow.
But he'd chosen this, and now
Yeah.
he had to see it through. At night, feeling the baby move, Jasper wondered if he'd made a terrible mistake. But he also felt
No. No. You didn't mind give me take. No.
something else, at what his body could do, even as he hated how it looked. At 37 weeks, Jasper went into labor. His parents drove him to the hospital in heavy silence. The delivery was long and complicated, but eventually, a healthy baby boy was born. Jasper held his son for
Oh.
1 hour. He memorized the tiny face, the small fingers. Then he handed the baby to the adoptive parents he'd carefully chosen, a couple who'd been trying for years to have children. It was the hardest thing Jasper had ever done, but it was also what felt right. He'd experienced what he needed to experience. Now this child deserved parents who were ready. Recovery was slow. Jasper resumed testosterone therapy immediately. His body gradually returned to its masculine state. He started planning for bottom surgery again, this time knowing he was ready to close that chapter completely. His relationship with his parents slowly healed. It took months of difficult conversations, family therapy, and time. They eventually understood that Jasper's desire to experience pregnancy hadn't been about rejecting his male identity. It had been about exploring his body's capabilities before they were gone forever. Jasper reapplied to college a year later. This time, he went to actually study. He was honest in his application essay about what had happened and what he'd learned. Surprisingly, the admissions committee appreciated his honesty and accepted him. Today, Jasper is 22. He's had bottom surgery and lives fully as the man he always was. He thinks about the son he carried sometimes, hoping the child is happy and loved. The pregnancy didn't make Jasper less of a man. If anything, it made him more certain of who he was. He'd explored a question his body had asked, and now he had his answer. So here's the question.
Oh.
Can someone explore biological capabilities without it defining their identity? Can a man
Yeah,
carry
they
a
can you.
baby and still be fully, completely male?
Yeah,
Share your thoughts below. Because
they can
identity
you.
isn't about what your body can do.
No.
It's about who you know yourself to be.
Yeah. True. Wow. That was easy. Go to college to study, even to a penalty, but that got us. Wow. The link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. And drop a like if you like, and comment below if you want to see more reaction like this one, and subscribe if you're new. And click the bell so you can be notified when I upload and when I post in what. Bye. Wow.